Well, baby gorillas, I'm alive. I don't even know if I'm on here. What's going on? Let's see if we're on. The Wokeist. I'm on. Let's see. Honestly, I've never done 4 podcasts in one night before, and I can't believe my signal dropped. I thought this was a joke. The Wokeist. Oh, here we go. My signal dropped. I thought this was a joke. The Wokeist. I don't know what's. Oh, here we go. I don't know what's happening with the colours here. The colours seem to be very, very washed out, and I don't know why that is. I don't know why that's going to be the next issue or problem that I have to resolve. I've now got the audio and the sound sounding fantastic. Yeah, I will have to now find out how to unwash the colours. Anyway, we're here now. We're back. Round 2, ding ding. Let's hear Nicola again talking about the trannies and the perverted left of sexual deviants are now in charge and having to make excuses for their weirdness.
My question is, are all trans women women? You haven't answered that question.
Well,
no.
That's not the point that we're dealing with here.
That's the question I'm asking.
Trans women are women, but in the prison context, there is no automatic right for a trans woman.
So that's no. The answer you're looking for is no, Nicola.
There are contexts where a trans woman is not a woman.
Yeah, because they've got a penis.
No, there is circumstances in which a trans woman will be housed in the male prison estate.
Is there any context in which a woman born as a woman will be housed in the male estate?
Look, we're talking...
Yeah, that would be interesting. That's actually quite a good question. Would any woman who identifies as a man, or even if they identify as a woman, want to be housed in with men? That's very interesting.
Here about trans women.
And I'm now asking about women born as women.
I don't think there are circumstances there, but...
Would you be allowed to? If you were a woman, would you be able to say, I don't want to get housed in a women's only prison, I would prefer to go to a male prison, and do that unilaterally? I don't know what circumstances that would actually happen in. But I can't think of it off the top of my head, but if you're allowing men to go into women's prison and you believe in equality, surely that if a woman wanted to be housed in a male prison, that she should be able to do that. Whether or not that's beneficial for her, I don't know.
Different for trans women.
Well, yes, and I'm not...
So they're not...
There you go, you'll be able to get a new show, Finding Love in Prison. I'm sure there's a few gay men that find love in prison.
That is not... There is a risk assessment process done for trans women that takes account of the nature of the crime. Clearly, if you've got a penchant for having unconsensual sex with women, or forcing women to have sex, are the same, that putting the fox in charge of the chicken coop might be a bit of a problem. Significant consent,
or in fact not in charge, in with the chickens,
arises out of sexual crime, and whether it's appropriate for them to be in a female prison or a male prison.
Wow.
Whether it's a side hustle.
Wow.
I was on Twitter last night and I saw an image that looked like a news article and I thought it was a joke. It was about a criminal.
The thing about this scenario, this image of PJW in front of the map, when you're actually in that room, the map looks smaller in real life And PJW's massive. He's 6 foot plus. He's a big, quite a very tall fella, which you don't appreciate as well, seeing him on this. So my optical illusion of watching PJW even before I met him is seeing a large map, which looks like a large map, and him being just an average sized guy, a normal guy. When the reality is the map's smaller and he's massive. And that's one of the illusions that happens in life.
Identifying as a baby so they could get preferential treatment in prison. That's amusing, I thought. Must be Babylon B or something, then immediately scrolled past it.
Let's see that again. I missed that.
Get preferential treatment in prison. That's as a baby so they could get preferential treatment in prison. That's amusing, I thought. Must be Babylon B or something, then immediately scrolled past it. It's not a joke. Trans killer now identifies as infant and demands dummy, nappies and baby food in jail. Transgender killer now identifies as an infant and demands nappies, a dummy and baby food in prison. It's reported Sophie Eastwood, 36, formerly known as Daniel Eastwood, was sentenced to life in prison in 2004 after using shoelaces to strangle her cellmate. The killer even demands officers hold her hand when she is escorted from her cell, according to reports. Prison bosses are said to be taking the demand seriously. And why shouldn't they? I mean, if a man can identify as a woman, why can't someone identify as a baby? Disagree, you're trans-age phobic. A convicted criminal's going to start identifying as innocent when they go up for parole. I mean, at this point, why should anything surprise me? A man convicted of raping 2 women who later identified as trans got put in Scotland's only all-female prison and was only moved out of it after a massive backlash. And even after the outcry, Nicola Sturgeon's justice minister said this, quote, if somebody presents as a trans person, and even if they raped 2 women as a...
It's great, isn't it? PJW is just terrific. If you've not subscribed, definitely subscribe to him.
A biological man. Quote, then we accept that at face value. Here's another one in Scotland. Tiffany Scott, who looks like...
Yeah, and this has all come from wee Nippy, the alleged lesbian. All this gender queer crap and indoctrination of your children and preventing free speech and all the commie stuff. She's basically the Socialist Workers' Party, and the Socialist Workers' Party are a bunch of Trotskys. That Nicola Sturgeon is an actual Trotsky. She still get the same daft student politics that she had back in the day when she was at uni.
Like this, convicted of stalking a 13-year-old girl, was also due to be moved to the same all-woman prison. Meanwhile, Richard Madeley got scolded twice on TV this morning. Once for referring to Sam Smith, who looks like this, as a man.
Men filmed from behind gyrating while wearing leather trousers with the bottom cut out in a heart shape. A shot of him, Sam, spanking and simulating a very specific act with a scantily clad drag queen.
Remember that Sam Smith uses the pronouns...
I don't care. I use the pronouns I don't care. How about that?
They.
Big deal. I'll call them whatever I choose.
They, yes, sorry.
Remember that Sam Smith uses the pronouns they.
They.
All right, bootlicker. And he got scolded again for misgendering a guest.
So don't watch it. If you don't want your kids to watch it, don't let them watch it.
Do you think she's got a point when she says that the fuss about this...
Yes, right. What does that mean?
Is because...
I use they, them pronouns.
I'm sorry?
Shivani identifies as...
I'm so sorry. I will learn to do that.
Yeah, Madeley wasn't grovelling enough for my liking. He should have at least got down on the floor and taken a knee.
Brilliant. 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 Anything goes. Go and sign up, guys. Go and subscribe. Anyway. Let's go. Let's go. What are you guys saying? Are you guys here? Is anybody here? Oh, I've got two windows open here. Oh. David Cutton's a good fella, he certainly is. Where are we? No, there we are. So, oh, here we go. Edinburgh University. So this is all getting pumped through the unis. We'll see in a second the calamity that is this. Edinburgh Uni, can you explain why you hosted a homophobic hate preacher, Cathy Montgomery, who told students that same-sex attraction is a dog whistle. Poor my pal, what's her name? Ariel. Will be picking this up soon enough. Gay men and lesbians being attracted to the same sex, like allegedly Nicola Sturgeon, is not non-negotiable. Yeah, I'm only interested in the opposite side. So I stand with my gay and lesbian brothers and sisters. So I only stand. So this whole, and I feel sorry, to be honest with you. I feel sorry for the people who are actually trans, because they're just getting kicked about like political football. And a lot of trans people are brand new. This is coming from the wokesters. I've never had a problem with any trans person. There's not, maybe trans people have had other problems in their life, but certainly not for me. I love trans people. There's no issues there. I don't have any problems with them. I just don't want to sleep with them. That's it. Whether you're passable or not, that's it. I don't want any sexual contact with another dude. And if you're a dude in a dress, I still don't want any sexual contact with you. So, but apart from that, I don't have an irrational fear of them. And I don't wish them any harm, and I wish them the best life. And I certainly would not talk to them because they were trans. So there wouldn't be any issues caused in this situation. But the T's are definitely starting to affect the G's and the L's, and potentially the B's as well. Although the B's seem quite flexible.
Letting people get away with dog whistles and calling out people who don't understand them. So I've got some examples here. For example, like these are all classic gender critical things. Sex matters, they just mean your birth sex. Homosexual means same-sex attracted. I need to explain this because I know this one. This is one of my favourite ones. Is what they actually mean is when they say it to me, they're saying it is gay men who are attracted to you and not straight men. That is like what is being said. They think sexuality is just based on your birth sex. But obviously, in how real life works, the thing is when they say homosexual means same-sex attracted, and you're like, you know they're gender critical, so you react to like, oh, fuck off. And then they say, you must be homophobic. And they can show it to everyone else, and everyone else is like, well, that is what.
So, buzzword, try and negotiate me down. I don't care about your buzzwords. You can take your buzzwords and shove them right up where the sun doesn't shine. If I get sex on demand from women, then I'll start listening to you. And or I'll just say, oh, you're heterophobic, and lesbians as well. We nippy have to have sex with me, even though she's a lesbian, on demand. Or I'll just start abusing you. That's basically what they're saying. If I don't get sex, I'll shame you. Sex from you on demand, I'll shame you. That's brilliant. And now we're teaching that in one of the most prestigious universities in the world. I mean, really, honestly, who are these retards?
Isn't it? And like, yeah, it is. That is what it means, unless you have some belief that someone has basically like a sex essence that they were given at conception, which is really what you're attracted to. It's like, though I did have a yesterday say that he could smell chromosomes, so you never know.
We're not having sex with you. You just have sex with each other. I'm going to play that again because she's decidedly stupid, this one. The force is great in her.
Letting people get away with dog whistles and calling
Getting away with dog whistles.
out people who don't understand them.
Don't understand. Not clarified. I don't know if we've just got this out of context, so we don't have any context so far.
So I've got some examples here. For example, like these are all classic gender critical things.
These are all classic gender critical things.
Sex matters, they just mean your birth
Sex matters. I don't know what that means.
sex. Homosexual means same-sex attracted.
Homosexual means you're same-sex attracted. I guess that's where the homo comes in from.
To explain this because I know this one. This is one of my favourite ones. Is what they actually mean is when they say it to me, they're saying it is gay men who are attracted to you and not straight men.
It's gay men that are something. I don't know if this bird's a tranny as well. Not sure if she's a dude in a dress. Hold on, let me just get this.
It is gay men who are attracted to you and not straight men.
It's gay men that are what?
Attracted to you and not straight men. It's when they say it to me, they're saying it is gay men who are attracted to you and not.
it's gay men that I don't, honestly, this is what happens in these sort of lecture halls. You actually miss something, a word in one point where the what you're actually listening to, you can't actually hear it. So I don't know if she just wasn't concise there. I don't get me wrong, I'm not exactly the greatest orator myself, but I have no idea what she was saying.
Not straight men. That is like what is being said. They think sexuality is just based on your have sex. Now obviously in the
yeah, that's what I think as well. So it's not only the gays and the lesbians, well, I don't know about the bis, but also the heterosexuals. Those of us that are only interested in the opposite sex are not interested in having sex with trannies. That's it. Zero interest. In fact, I would say, and I'm going to go into this, that it was rape. But you think that, I've got to, or I'll shame you. I don't care if you shame me. I'm still not going to be interested in having sex with trannies. Zero interest. None. Nanty. Zero. If other people who are bisexual want to sleep with trannies, then that's fine, or gay, or other gay men, and that's on their spectrum. I don't have a problem with that either. But as a heterosexual man, I have zero interest. You can shame all you want. I have zero interest in getting close to another dude in a dress. Zero. There's a greater chance of me wanting to have sex with Ellen, or whatever her name is now, with her breast chopped off, than there is for somebody who was born a man. No interest whatsoever as a heterosexual man. None. You could shame me all you want. It still would not change.
How real life works. The thing is, when they say homosexual means same-sex attracted, and you're like...
Yeah, and heterosexual means the opposite sex, not some dude in a dress.
You know they're gender critical, so you react to like,
I'm not gender critical. I'm heterosexual. That's what I am. I've not got a critical. I need to be gender critical about the fact that some dude with his penis cut off in a dress trying to have sex with me. That's not me being gender critical. That's me saying I'm not interested in that. That's a bit weird. That's a bit gay. And I'm not gay, I'm heterosexual. The same with the LGBT. Well, the LG, the L's and the G's. The G's and the L's. They're not interested as well. They're all homosexuals. See, I think people think that this is a straight versus gay or straight versus lesbian. We all hate the gays and the lesbians. It's not. We understand that there's gay people and lesbian, homosexual men and women out there, and they're only interested in the things. So we are completely empathetic. We don't have an irrational fear of that, unless they're trying to have the gay guys try to have sex. And then we have an irrational fear. But apart from that, we're just not interested. But it doesn't mean that we're against gays actually. We're not Muslims. We're not against gays finding other gay men to do whatever they're going to do, or bisexual men, or even trans, whatever denomination they want to do it with as well. We're just not interested. That's it. Those of us that are completely on the 10 for heterosexuality, we have no desire. I don't even like being in a changing room with men. If you gave me a choice of being in a changing room with men and being in a changing room with women, I would take the women's changing room all the time. Doesn't mean they're all going to get sexually assaulted, but I just have no desire to see other men naked. None at all. If I never saw any other naked man, and I think some guys have got fantastic physiques. It's not the fact that they've not got great physiques, but it's just not of interest to me being on the extreme form of that. And likewise, the homosexual, another extreme. They've got their own preferences, we've got our own preferences, and what you're trying to do is, because you're a fascist, think, yeah, we can overturn biological preferences that you should be doing X, Y and Z. It's hard enough. I mean, Ruthie Baby Davison's managed to have a child. One child, Kezia Dugdale and wee Nippy, and that's two women. So Kezie's married to a woman, Ruth's married to another woman. So that's I think Nicola Sturgeon's meant to go out with the French diplomat, isn't she? So that's 6 women, 6 vaginas, penisophobia, and irrational fear. You should be doing classes in penisophobia, and none of them have had any kids. So we've got a declining population. There's a greater chance that 2 women scissoring is going to create fire rather than it's going to create a child. So they still need the sperm, but if they were two lesbians, they would to stop demographic destruction. Each of them would have to have 3 kids, so they would have to have a family with 6 kids in it to stop a decrease in the population. So the promotion of homosexuality is actually now decreasing the population, which is what the wefters, the woke wefters, want to do. They want a destruction of population, but at the same time we're going to import a foreign population and give away the country. I mean, honestly, you have to go in here and start sorting these idiots out. Carry on.
And then they say, you must be homophobic. And they can show to everyone else. And everyone else is like, well, that is what it means, isn't it? And like, yeah, it is. That is what it means, unless you have...
I don't care. I don't care if somebody says they're homophobic. Say that again.
You must be homophobic. And they're like, you know they're gender critical,
so you know they're gender critical.
Like, fuck off.
Oh, fuck off. Right, so obviously deep discussions here. Carry on.
And then they say, you must be homophobic.
You must be homophobic, right? So that's the person who's telling. So she's told the homosexual to fuck off, and she's now saying, the homosexual saying, oh, you must be homophobic.
And they can show to everyone else, and everyone else is like, well, that is what it means, isn't it?
That is what it means, isn't it? Well, I don't know if you're homophobic, that is what it means, right?
And like, yeah, it is. That is.
Yeah, so so she is homophobic. That's what they are, homophobic. Just suck the dick, bigot. I think that's what they're saying. Suck the dick, bigot, and stuff. And that's for the lesbians. Eat the pussy, the gays. Eat the pussy. So that's what they're basically saying, and they're also trying to shoehorn into this people who are trannies trying to have sex with them as well. It'll be like a big Romanesque orgy in the future. That's what it'll be like. Greek.
That's what it means, unless you have some belief that someone has basically like a sex essence that they were given at conception, which is
a sex essence. I'm not into you. I can smell your sex essence.
Really what you're attracted to. It's like
yeah, I know I've had heterosexual women not attracted to me. I know it's hard to believe, but that it does happen.
I did have yesterday say that you can smell chromosomes, so
smell chromosomes. I can smell your chromosomes. It's not funny. They're just trying to. What they're trying to do is shoehorn you through shame into doing something you don't want to do. What's your problem? And this is getting taught through the universities. Take your academia and shove it right up your ass. How about that? How about you take your notes and shove them? There you go. But that just shows you how Nazi-esque that these individuals are. What are you saying, Calvin? No, I don't want to get into global. Here we go. There's another lesbian.
Live in where convicted rapists and sex offenders are being.
But this is the one thing, because a lot of terrorists are lesbians, so they're not interested in men. They try and say some very misandrous things about men and the way that men are. So they create a climate of fear amongst women because they're trying to les them up, like Nicola Sturgeon.
Placed on the female estate when we know that the vast majority of those women in prison are highly vulnerable, whatever their crimes, and most have.
But she doesn't mention that men are vulnerable in prison as well. Some men
ended up in prison as a direct or indirect result of men's violence in.
Right, so women have gone into prison only because of men's violence from the lesbian, who's definitely not trying to sow the ground with deceit and so that she can les up more women. She's definitely not trying to do that. So all women are in Scottish prisons because men are violent to them, not to mention lesbians who beat up other lesbians. That's all men, just like the 5 black police officers who killed a black man. That's misogyny. They're just lying to a black man. That's misogyny. They're just lying to you now. I mean, it's just getting to the stage where it's openly misandrous lesbians like this and anti-white racists like trying to blame the death of a black man by 5 other black men on white supremacy.
Highly vulnerable, whatever their crimes, and most have ended up in prison as a direct.
Where's your stats in that? And the fact that this reporter, this is GB News, and GB News should be on top of this. Where's your statistics for saying that that all these women are in jail because of male violence?
Or indirect result of men's violence in child.
So direct or indirect result. So every woman that's in Cottonville just now, and it's Cottonville, it's like picking Cottonville. They were driving me bonkers by mispronouncing it. So this obviously overweight lesbian is saying that all women are in jail because of Scottish male violence, and she's not got an axe to grind or any other ulterior motives for blaming men for all women's situations, have you?
Childhood through to adulthood. Now, I actually would say that there is no space, no place at all for any man, whether that.
And any man ever to be in the world, it should just be us lesbians. All of us girls should all be together. This would be like if I was listening to a gay man talking about women, I would be like, no, I don't really agree with that. I like women. But if you've got angry lesbians like this woman, that she is then stirring the pot because her raison d'etre, like Nicola Sturgeon, is to les up other women. So she's obviously going to be misandrous and blame men for everything else because she's got a hidden agenda, which is her biological requirements are to les up other women. If she plays the misandrous game and blames men for everything, then it obviously benefits her from what her misguided biological requirements are.
They're convicted sex offenders or not in women's prisons and women-only spaces, and the idea that gender identity somehow trumps sex is nonsense.
Well, I don't disagree with you there.
It's because of men's violence that we have single-sex exemptions.
It's because of men's violence we have single-sex. Do you know, I've lived in Scotland decades now, and I've never. I'm trying to think before I say this. I've never seen a woman get hit never seen a woman get hit. If a woman get hit in Scotland, the guy would probably get it. But yeah, I've never seen a woman get hit. In Scotland, never seen it. Now, I'm not saying that domestic abuse doesn't go on. I genuinely believe it, but that's very much in the home, and that's the selection of partners that you're selecting. So you're selecting violent partners, and not all men are violent.
That we have a right to these spaces, and the vast majority of males
of lesbians prefer to be with other women. I mean, that's as I said, if I had a choice between being with a group of lesbian women, being with a group of heterosexual women, or being with a bunch of gay men in a changing room, I'd probably go for the heterosexual women first, and then the lesbians, and the gay men are very pale third. No, if she's a lesbian, no wonder she's the predator in that situation, is she not? And I would, as a heterosexual man, I prefer to be sexually abused by somebody of the opposite sex, not the same sex. That's 10 times worse.
Sex offenders are not ever convicted. They're usually never even.
As I said, I've been sexually assaulted by about 20 women. 20 women since I was about 11. Probably stopped, I would think, last time in 2015. That was the last time that happened. But the fact that it doesn't happen. And these are women who have not had any sort of relationship, not kissed or anything. So the fact that women don't do it's just not true.
And arrested. So why would it be safe to have any man in women's prisons? And as I say, I include male.
Yeah, I don't believe that all men, and this is coming from obviously an angry lesbian TERF type, who's probably got a vested interest to les up other women. If I was a heterosexual woman, I would, like me, a heterosexual woman who's not interested at all in the same sex, I would prefer to be in with even a non-violent, non-abusive man than I would do an angry lesbian. We all know that angry lesbians like Nicola Sturgeon beats up their girlfriends and throws irons in the Balmoral Hotel, allegedly. And seems to have, they keep talking about men and men's violence and blah, 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 but they don't talk about violence. One of the most violent relationships are between two lesbian women, because they're angry lesbians like this one, Liz Turf.
Prison officers in that.
Let's just clarify that point. Obviously, Adam Graham has undergone no surgery or anything. And he is a sex offender.
Yes.
What about a transgender woman who had undergone alignment surgery, who had got a certificate, who hadn't necessarily committed any crimes against women? Maybe they were in for fraud or something that was a non-violent offence. How would you feel about that person being placed in a women's prison?
In exactly the same way.
I'm a lesbian. I'm not interested in any competition for women who are confined in with me as a lesbian.
As I would about a man who
I'm not interested in, because I've got no interest in men. I'm only interested in women.
Not committed any crime, who seems like a really nice chap, who decides that he's going to get changed next to a 14, 15-year-old girl.
I think, well, that's not the same, is it? Because there's no 14, 15-year-old girls in female prisons. But that happens on the beach all the time. I hate to tell you. Happens all the time. Nudist beaches all over Spain, that happens. So it already happens in things that we see in our day-to-day.
In a sports facility, it's not because we say that they are rapists or they are
No, that's what you do say. You say all men are like this, all men are like that. That's what you do say. Because the angry TERF lesbians want to les up other women. That's a raison d'etre.
Offenders. It's because we recognise that enough of that minority of men that pose a danger to women and girls, but also...
Right, so I would suggest that that's a minority, that's not the majority.
So we have to look at the fear that women experience when we see a man who shouldn't be there in a space that's supposed to be designated single-sex.
I would say some of the guys who are actually going to the Cotton Vale are to be worried about by women, but I don't think every guy.
Because of our vulnerability. Hospital wards.
But you're vulnerable all the time. Women are vulnerable all the time. I think the vast majority of men, for the vast majority of the time, don't do anything. That's the reality. They don't do anything.
Prisons and the like.
But does post-op make a difference?
No, not at all. I think that it's obviously,
the guy's been eunuchsed.
It just adds, fuel to the fire when we're talking about some bloke walking around with his penis visible through his clothing, or even, in the case of Karen White, another trans-identified male, his actual penis visible.
See, they've got penisophobia. I told you, penisophobia is a real thing, especially for lesbian TERF types. They have a real problem with penises. It's like kryptonite to Superman, penises to TERFs and lesbian women. Oh, a penis! I'm going to explode, it's a penis! Guys are not really bothered about naked women. Guys are not really nonplussed. But a penis to these women is like, oh, it's just unbelievable. It's got a power of its own, because these are women who don't like male anatomy, don't like men really, and every man's a rapist, and
per se on a prison wing. Of course it does. It instills even more fear in women, but
especially the lesbian TERF women who've got penis phobia and hate men, and who would prefer to be in a prison that's only just got women in it. Really, that must be like fantasy island to a big fat TERF, and oh no, there's a man's penis. I've just seen a man's penis, and I'm into women, and I'm not happy that these women would not be interested in some fat lesbian TERF.
Men, including those that identify as transgender, commit acts of sexual violence every single...
as we have seen done by TERF lesbian women in prisons as well. There is... I don't know if I can get it up. I'm not sure if I can get it.
Hey guys, what's up? Okay, so I just want to address this. The title is not clickbait. Okay, this is a true story. This is going to be a story time video today. So something that a lot of you didn't know about me, as a juvenile, not as an adult, I did get into trouble, and I was 15. Basically, I was hanging out with, I had bad parental guidance, and I was hanging out with the wrong people, and I was just with them whenever they were doing illegal things, and it got me into trouble multiple times. So by 16, I was sent to prison. Yes, I was sent to prison at 16 for 5 years. I ended up only serving 1 of 5 years though. Okay, so let me get some water. I'll go more into that in a later video. I've never really talked about it just because I'm not proud of it at all. I'm actually deeply ashamed too. Yeah. It saved my life, and it really taught me a lot and made me a better person, I have to say. So I don't regret what happens at all. Alright, so let's get started on the topic of this video, guys. Alright, so first of all, I want to say it is very true that everyone is gay in prison. The prison that I was in...
No wonder they don't want any guys in them. Eh? A fat lesbian. Let's get rid of some of these. No wonder the fat lesbian doesn't want anybody. Where the hell did that go? That was weird. Did I just go? Oh, there she is there. No wonder the fat lesbian doesn't want anybody in prison when they're all gaying each other up. That would be real competition, wouldn't it? Oh no, we've got a captive audience of women who are all being gay for the cause. And carry on, madam, you tell us your story.
There was no straight girls. Everyone was gay for the stay. Alright, like facts, like everyone was. Like you come in straight and you leave like gay, and then you're straight again whenever you go home. That's just what happens, at least in the female facility.
That sounds terrible. Especially, well, I don't know if women, I don't know, that's somebody's going to have to tell me if all women are potentially, if that happens to all women in there. But no wonder the lesbians want to keep it, there no men in it.
I was in. So right from the jump, whenever I got transferred from a holding facility to the prison, and right from the jump, I get body checked, I change into my new prison clothes. We had cottages, so you'd have to walk from the main building outside to your cottage. There were like 5 cottages. There's like 2 general pops, a drug and alcohol abuse cottage, and then a mental health cottage. So at first I was in general pop. The officer was walking me straight to my cottage from, just like I literally just got there, fresh off the fucking boat. And he's like, so do you have a boyfriend? And I'm like, yeah, I have a boyfriend. He's like, well, just so you know, there's a lot of lesbians in here.
That's enough. Oh no, I'll leave it more.
And they're gonna try to get you.
Are they? Oh my god. So no wonder they don't want heterosexuals, men in the prisons, if all these lesbians are trying to lace up other women. Queer goes undercover in prison and falls in love.
My name is Angela Cooper. I'm from Los Angeles, California. When I was 25 years old, I had just got out of a really bad breakup. I was going through a lot of depression and dealing with like a lot of suicidal thoughts. I was really conflicted with myself and really wanting to not be queer, not be a lesbian. And then a couple of weeks later, my buddy calls me and he offers me this opportunity to be a part of this docuseries. The docuseries that I got contacted for entailed me pretty much going undercover in jail to be able to, first off, show the experience of a person while they're incarcerated, and then second off, being able to provide the COs and the officers with specific notes as far as like how drugs are getting in, like the gang culture inside there. So I was pretty much like an informant. I accepted, and within a week later, I flew to Atlanta, Georgia, and then they put me into the Fulton County jail. Within my time in there, I had the opportunity to bond with a lot of these women. We would pray together, we'd dance together, we'd sing together. We would just really enjoy each other. One day, an inmate came in. She came into my pod. She got bunked with me. Me and her started to get really close and connected. So she started to we would work out together. We would just talk about life together, talk about our futures together. We had such a strong connection that I ended up falling in love with her. Our relationship went from being platonic, cordial, to now becoming intimate. You know, when you're inside jail, you're stuck with your thoughts. And for me, luckily, I was blessed enough to have very, very beautiful spirits around me. People would be like, Angele, you've been a lesbian since you were 6 years old. Girl, accept it. There was one woman in there that was very spiritual, and she would be like, God is love. You are love. We are love. They taught me that when they looked at me, they saw light in me, which enabled me to see light within myself. So my birthday is November 3rd, and it was November 2nd. And I was actually turning...
So I want to drag this. So we've got a whole bunch of lesbian women trying to les up other women. Now, I don't know how acceptable if I was in jail and a gay guy was trying to proposition me, that wouldn't end very well. That wouldn't end very well. But I don't know how more acceptable it is for women to be involved with other women. We can see how the thing has got a special name. It's called turning out. So if I was a heterosexual woman and I had the same feelings of heterosexuality as I do as a man, I would never ever want to be with a woman regardless. Never ever ever would want to be with a woman. And that could get clipped and taken out of context. But but it seems like it's more acceptable. But you can understand why homosexual women, like the big fat one that we just had on, the bad haircut, wants to have the ability to homosexualise other women.
You're all back together for a special meal. Heartburn and indigestion can pull you out of the moment. So if it does, take Gaviscon Double Action tablets. They neutralise acid fast and build a protective...
And if you think about it from the greater context of the wefters are trying to reduce the population. Homosexuals are much less because they've got penis or vagina phobia, and they don't like, obviously with the name homosexual. If you promote homosexuality and you think it's normal for two people to scissor or whatever, that they're not going to produce any children. So we've already got this declining population in the West, a replacement immigration process where we're being deliberately replaced by the so-called Scottish National Party, and we've got the promotion of homosexuality, and so that women can be abused by other women.
Player lasting up to 4 hours, so you can get back to the celebration. Live in the moment with Gaviscon Double Action.
I love watching my two with their grandparents. The kids bring out their mischievous side. Being away on holiday together, I realise how lucky I am.
7-night Norwegian Fjords holidays from $5.99 per person.
Cotton candy. Cotton candy. I love blue cotton candy.
She's talking about candy floss.
Upload 2 to make up for it, so I hope you guys aren't like, what the heck is going on? It's been like 13 days. What? But it was a little drastic, and you guys will find out why when I tell you the story. But Whew, that's for another day. Okay, y'all. So, I don't know why. An emotionally driven person is going to seek out something that satisfies their emotional need or...
Right, so these women, I mean, it just shows you the difference in biology or mentality between men and women, that your emotional need will turn into a sexual need. That's quite interesting.
Their emotional void, right? So...
I don't care how big my void was, it wouldn't make me homosexual or bisexual.
With that being said, if you are in an environment where you are very, very limited in what kind of interactions, communications, and relationships you have with people, you are... I could be in jail for the rest of my life, I still wouldn't become homosexual. Are eventually going to take what you have around you.
My God. So men getting put into this situation with women like this, you can understand it might be the men that maybe have the men that have an issue.
And when someone comes to you and you're not looking for that, but they feed into that need or that void, oh yeah, you're gonna do it.
No, we're not going to do it. So that's the difference in mentality. That's quite interesting. So if you deprive a woman long enough of sex, then she's going to do it.
You're going to do it. Y'all can disagree all you want. Y'all can tell...
Yeah, no chance.
Tell me in the comments. I know you guys are going to be like, no, it would never happen. Listen, I feel you and I get you. But it happens. I'm telling you right now, women will 99.9% of the time succumb to a lesbian relationship when they are in prison. Okay.
So there you've heard it there. So 99.9% of the time. So a woman's sexuality must be a lot more fluid than a guy's. So we've got the lesbian who is...
Tell us all about that. Research, including our government's research, has shown to the same extent in the...
So they don't cover this in the research or anything like that. They don't cover female violence to other females. They don't cover this homosexuality amongst this. They don't cover any of that. Where is this? So this is all ignored.
We're convicted assignment, including those that socially transition. And I think it's an absolute obscenity that we put the so-called rights of men...
But the rights of lesbians to turn out other women in jail is not even addressed. I don't know how prevalent, obviously, this is in the UK, but if I was heterosexual, I wouldn't want to be around women to get turned out by other women, but women might be different from that point of view.
Who just identify as women when we know they're not. Every single person listening to this knows they're not women. Above the rights and
I don't disagree there.
The well-being of women who are already
getting lesbianed up by other women.
Vulnerable
But
enough.
this is how the dialogue has changed, hasn't it? And I think this is a question that Nicola Sturgeon and some of her supporters are sort of...
the mad LGBT mob.
Failed to answer. Who is it who decides ultimately the identity of any given person? Because there will be trans people watching this who consider you a TERF,
yes,
who consider
a lesbian,
you a bigot, as
and try to lace up other women.
Sturgeon has described you, and J.K. Rowling and others, who say, look, if this man identifies as a woman, then you are eroding his human rights, you're eroding his right to be seen equally to womankind.
I don't care.
Well, I don't care either then. So if you don't care, I don't care.
Men, trans-identified men already have rights. They have men's rights. I do not care if they're offended, and I
don't care if people are offended either, so I do agree with her.
Also don't care if any man wishes to use a female name, wear a skirt, and claim that he is a woman. Let him fill your boots. But he's not. And we know, all women know, that the only reason why we have single-sex spaces
is to let the lesbians sexually abuse other women. Which appears to be the case. And as the other women said, that 90-odd% of women would be interested in that.
And sex-based rights in law and policy is because of men's violence. If men stop raping and killing us, if men stop beating us in relationships...
Now, the proportions are much smaller. men on male violence is much higher than men on, and I'm talking about murders, men on female violence. So, and there's also obviously females that kill other females, or there wouldn't be women in jail.
Stop being a danger, stop posing a danger.
And women that kill men as well.
We won't care. It doesn't matter. Until that day, then we have to have our own facilities in order to protect the most vulnerable of us.
And to let us lace them up.
From men's violence.
What's your analysis of why Nicola Sturgeon...
And women don't sexually assault other women.
...is pushing this so hard? Because we obviously associate her with the independence campaign. This is now proving a...
Because she's a postmodernist Marxist. Are you not watching the GB News, not watching the Guerilla TV channel? I've covered all this before. She's a postmodernist Marxist. That's what wee nippy is.
Massive distraction.
And also potentially a homosexual, allegedly.
There's some rhetoric in the newspapers this morning about it might actually be the end of her political tenure.
I hope so. I hope so. I think Nicola Sturgeon is a disgrace. I think this is all about political expediency. She is looking at getting plaudits. She wants to be seen as the kind, exclusive person. She wants to be praised by all of those that don't give a damn about women's rights, because, of course, that's really deeply unfashionable to be a feminist and say men do commit acts of violence and this is wrong.
And women don't. So you've now got for people that advocate for equality, you've got a skewed debate that it's only men that commit acts of violence. She's not mentioned anything about women's acts of violence or women's sexual predators against even other women. So she's not mentioned any of this. She's just skewed debate, and because she's a big fat lesbian turf, that it's just all about men and, I don't like penises, penises. Just like Joanna Cherry.
Is a deeply unattractive and unpopular...
I don't think you should be caught saying deeply unattractive, dear.
...thing to say. It gets their hackles rising, and I've known this for over 40 years of feminism. Nicola Sturgeon...
40 years of feminism? Oh my God. And I would like to see what you've done for the men, because obviously you're trying to push for equality.
Is anything but a feminist. She's a betrayer of women, she's a disgrace, and I do hope that this ends her political career and that it serves a warning to all the other posturers that come after her.
Well, the feminists are fighting against the wokesters. So this is the battle of the left. This is two different strands of left-wing ideology, Marxist ideology and feminist ideology, but both equally, one men-hating misandrist and one TERF-supporting, gay rights-supporting bunch of fascists like we've got on the actual flag. So the flag, you. Look at this. There's more symbols going on by the day. Where's the one? Oh my God! They've got enough flags to take down an airport. Oh, an airplane. Sorry, not an airport. More flags than an airport. That's it. Oh dear. Where's the new one with the trolley? And the new gay flag with the trolley. You can see the original gay flag, which was quite colourful as well, inclusive. This was the original gay flag, the LGBT plus flag. Looks quite nice. It's quite nice, and it's there it is there, and then it's slowly getting outdone by the trannies and the brown and the black racial flag, like the Nazis, the gay Nazis. And I have to say, not all gay people are like this. There's some tremendous gay people. I mean, Andrew Neil, Douglas Murray, Dave Rubin, all fantastic gay guys. They understand and they get it as well. It is quite funny though. This is Marxist ideology and should be seen as such. This is the failure of the Marxist ideals to go from the class struggle and now to the identitarian struggle and to say, we'll suck these in. So now we've got this flag with the street workers in it. So you can see the LGBT plus is getting slowly pushed out. And we'll just see how many symbols we can go on. How many symbols we can go on it. Oh, this, I like this one. That's quite good as well. Oh dear. Oh, like this again, Nazi one. The gay Nazi flag. It makes a swastika. The gay identitarian Marxists. Oh my God. And and that makes a swastika. Oh, it's so good. It's just such a great time to be alive. The gay racist Marxists. Just like the Nazis. I mean, it's, the only difference is obviously back in the day they were persecuting the Jews, and now it's just persecuting straight white men. Oh dear, oh, it's so good. Where's the super straight? Let's get the super straight. Super straight. I need to get one of these. It's Pornhub. Oh dear. What absolutely are you? It's super straight. It's Pornhub. Whoever came up with this guy was a genius. Oh, I like the male and the female. Oh dear, super straight. Oh, that's such a great thing. Oh dear, that's how we reproduce children. White, straight, Republican and male. What's this one? It's great to be straight. Special Boston event. Oh, great. Oh, this is a fella here. Nice guy. Super straight. Lance, how you doing, buddy? What's Lance's name? Where are you, brother? Transphobic. Where's the super straight? Let's see if we can get the video of super straight. He's brilliant. Oh, where's the videos? More videos. Super straight. Let's see this. Let's see the tranny.
Professional traders who trade full-time for a living do not drive Lamborghini.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So it's a very, very exciting day.
So that's a dude in the dress.
A very exciting month, if you will. We have a brand new sexuality that has just been added to the LGBT community.
It's not really the brand new one. I would say it was the oldest one, or none of us would be here.
So excited, can't wait to celebrate. I'm kidding, I'm literally kidding. If you guys are on TikTok or even Twitter at this point, it's kind of branched out into different social media platforms. You would have heard about this new sexuality or this new identity called super straight. Basically, a bunch of 15-year-old boys on TikTok are like, well, I identify as super straight.
Me
so
too,
I would never date a trans person. Yes, it is as ridiculous as it sounds.
No. Super straight.
I post new videos here on my channel twice a week, usually Monday and Thursday. So if you guys are not yet subscribed and you would like to be, go ahead and do that right now. I'll wait for you. Are you done? Thank you very much. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter to keep as up to date with me as possible. Talking about this brand new somebody who identifies as super straight and let them explain it for themselves, shall we? I had to cut the audio out of some of these clips, so if they don't have any audio behind them, just know that, like, I don't know, I don't want to get copyright striked. So this TikTok is playing and it's just some random song in the background, but it says, I'm coming out, so you better get this body snotted. Sorry, I get copyright strike for my excellent singing up in here, I don't know. But it says, I'm coming out, my chosen sexuality is super straight, which means I'm only attracted to females with the XX chromosome. Please don't be super phobic. So that's pretty much the whole gist of super straight. Basically all it means is that they don't want to date somebody that's trans. Period. Not that they have a preference.
They're right. They're complete right. And you don't have the right to force them to do what they don't want to do. You can call them any names under the sun. You don't have the right to force somebody to do what they don't want to do.
It's for a certain genitalia, not that they, prioritize having biological children, just that they don't want to date somebody that is trans. Well, this person specifies...
Right, well, so what's the problem?
...it as an XX chromosome, but most people just say that they don't want to date somebody that is trans. So the first little thing...
we don't want to date a gay man with his penis cut off, or even still with his penis.
The thing that I just want to point out in this TikTok, at least, is chosen sexuality. This 15...
See, that's why they're all fascists. They all think they're entitled. You're not entitled to shit. You're not entitled. I don't feel entitled to women's presence, although I should probably turn myself into a tranny and jump in a women's prison, because they all seem to be getting very fruity with it in there.
10-year-old boys really don't know how sexuality works. I'm gonna choose to.
I don't know how sexuality works. I'm older than you, and I know how sexuality works. What I do also know is, even as a lesbian woman myself and a tranny myself, is the fact that, and I've now decided to come out and identify as black and disabled. So I'm a black disabled lesbian tranny, and now as that, I have decided that super straight is a thing, and you have to respect it, just like my lesbian choice only to like proper lesbos.
To be this today, I'm gonna choose to
like
be gay.
Nicola Sturgeon.
Also, like, if you're gonna choose to be attracted to something, how are you gonna choose it off of chromosomes? Like, oh my god, XX chromosomes.
We're going to do what Crocodile Dundee does. Wait, I'll show you this. Crocodile Dundee. So this is going to be the new greeting. So this is this is the new handshake. So Donald Trump was ahead of his time.
That was a guy. Like a Sheila. Well, you all knew you pack of.
So that's going to be the new way that people are going to start greeting. They won't be shaking hands anymore. This is where it.
Pleased to meet you.
It's okay, he's Australian.
So that's going to be it. So what, back to you, what are you saying? I don't have a problem if people are transgender. It's not a problem. The whole transitioning thing, I don't have any issues with it. If that's what you want to do and it's your body, you knock yourself out. What you don't have the right to do, especially me being a libertarian, is tell me what I should think and what I should do.
What our lives are and are about comes.
Anyway, I'm getting checked soon enough.
So fucking hot. Oh my god, I can't. I just can't. It just doesn't work like that. Like, you can have a genital preference, of course, if you don't want to date somebody with a penis. That's fine. You can, that's a real life thing. You may not want to date that person after you find out what genitalia they have, or you may not want to date that person after you find out that they can't.
They should inform you before, or that way that's how we'll be doing crocodile.
Mockery of the LGBT community. It's mocking people saying, please don't be homophobic, please don't be transphobic. They're like, well, don't make fun of me then. Don't be superphobic, don't be cisphobic, don't be straightphobic. There's literally no point to identifying as super straight other than just being a dickhead. Like, you can have a preference, that's fine, but that doesn't change your sexuality.
Yeah.
I'm super straight. I only date the opposite gender, women, that are born women, so you can't...
Opposite sex.
As a member of the
gender's a social construct.
The LGBTQ SS meaning super straight, I would like to thank you for finally bringing this to the world's attention, because now I can finally come out as super straight and cute, meaning I only date females that were born females and that are cute. And if you disagree with this, then you're just super straight phobic. Like, that's not cool.
As I was saying, it's just a way to be an asshole. Nobody's forcing you to date somebody that you're not attracted to. Nobody.
No, what you're trying to do is deceptively date somebody and present something that you're not. So if I went and changed my looks to be somebody else's husband, and I was the same sex as that person, and then had sex with their wife, but I looked exactly the same, I'm sure the wife would then have a problem that I've just looked the same but had sex with her, and I'm the same sex as her husband. It's 10 times worse somebody the same sex as you, if you're heterosexual, than it is the other way around. So that's the situation. You're trying to be deceptive, and if you were straight up, most of the guys probably wouldn't be interested, because you're a dude with his penis cut off, or even with his penis. Either way, you're still a dude in a dress.
Nobody's forcing you to date somebody that's trans. Like, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, but they don't know, because they're presenting a different way. A gay guy's presenting as if he is the sex that you're attracted to. You've had plenty of plastic surgery. You've created a completely different an illusion for the man, and I would see it, which I'm going to come on to, as rape.
Just a way for them to be openly transphobic. This next TikTok is another example of it.
It's not an irrational fear. We're just not gay. It's not. I don't have an irrational fear of you. I don't think, oh no, it's a rational fear. I think that you're being deceptive in your presentation, because if they actually knew what your sex was at birth, they wouldn't be interested, because they're not gay. That's it.
People are just using this whole super straight thing to just be an asshole.
Well, you're trying to say that if you told them, well, tell them up front. Tell them up front that you're a tranny, and then we'll see what your reaction is. See what their reaction is. If you're trying to date them, at least give the person the correct tools to be able to make an informed decision whether or not they are interested. No heterosexual guy is going to be interested in dating a transsexual, regardless. It's just not. It's just against their DNA. Just like lesbians and gays, they're not interested. That doesn't mean there's not a pull for you in dating gay and bisexual men, or guys that bisexual men that don't have a problem with it. There is a market for you, but it's not with heterosexual men.
Fat phobia is not cute, and it's not trendy.
I'm super straight. It's a preference. Exactly. You don't need to create a new sexuality for your preference.
Well, if it's not a preference, it's a biological necessity for the spreading of the genes and increasing the population. That's what it is. It's a biological necessity. Having sex with you is not a biological necessity for anybody. There's nothing that would come from if you want to have children or from any interaction with you other than something sexual with a gay man who is obviously trying to attract other gay or bisexual men and trying to present in such a way that you could trick potentially heterosexual men. It's just not the same. You don't have the right to expect me to have sex with you being a gay man and presenting as a woman. Anyway, I think that's me. I don't know how long I've been on here for. Let me just make sure that I've been banging away. The gay Nazis. Me to have sex with you being a gay man and presenting as a woman. Anyway, I think that's me. I don't know how long well, at least that way the start camera stayed connected, That's great. The gay racist Swastika. So, right, I'm out here. That's number 2. I can't believe I'm halfway through my my podcast in one night. How many can you do in one night, Dave? This is the question. So